abafana nawe bayabalwa abafana nawe bayabalwa abafana nawe bayabalwa abafana nawe bayabalwa abafana nawe wana bayabalwa abafana nawe wake wayithatha inhliziyo.
Hey, we here, we back. How are we feeling? Number one chill spot on the internet. I was gonna go live on TikTok too, but it looks like TikTok took away my access. So bund them. Quick little vibe ting session just here, about to do a little bit of work, but I figured why not go live for a moment, check in with the tribe, see how we doing on this beautiful, what day is it today? Today is Monday. Beautiful day, beautiful morning, beautiful vibes. I'm actually getting ready. I gotta book some tickets. I'm going to Jamaica soon, so that's gonna be a real nice, gonna go with my father, handle a little bit of stuff, and then, check into the vibes and then come back. Got some other things that we going on, but hey, let's see, we got Jay Prodigy here. We got Ty, we got Lachey, we got, what else do we got? Let me see. We got Nod, hey, shout out to Nod. We got Big Cutie Patootie. I like that name, Big Cutie Patootie. Wow, TikTok actually took away my access. Bund them. After everything I've done for them, how dare they? It's all good. All good. Hey, we got Francis in the building. Where do we got it in the world? What are the countries we got? What are the nations we got? What's the vibes? We're almost closing up the whole year. I can't believe 2024. 2024 was a weird year. I was talking to my friend the other day and she was like, yo, I've been talking to a lot of different people and everybody been saying that 2024 was a little bit of a weird year for them. So, we praying, we hoping, we excited for 2025, new year coming up soon. Few months, we're about to lock in, get some things going. About to switch some things up. I think a little bit more streaming, applying the energy to different projects, rewiring the mind because, geez, it's been about time. We got Norway in the building. Hey. Alani says, no more YouTube. Oh, no. We got Barcelona. We got my brother Abraham in the building. What's up? Yeah, so I posted a video, I think, yesterday about no more YouTube. But I didn't actually say no more YouTube in the video. So let me kind of clarify. I kind of feel like when I went full-time on YouTube, it's almost like I feel like there was a rewiring of my mind. Like I was operating under a different OS, like a YouTube creator operating system. And over time, I realized I'm like, I don't like it. It's kind of changed the way I approach my creations. It's kind of changed the way I think, even in my downtime. And then I realized I had this revelation. I was chilling with somebody and I was like, I don't think I'm a YouTube creator anymore. Like I want to shed that label. Doesn't mean I'm not going to upload videos, but like that's not like my main focus. I want my main focus to be new projects, different things, and simply have YouTube be a highlight, a telescope of different things that we're doing. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to show up and bring value. I'm still going to do that. But it just means that like I want to kind of do things differently, you know? YouTube's not my main focus. If I feel like dipping for 6 months on the uploads, I'm going to do so. If I feel like just live streaming, I'm going to do so, you know? But really what I want to do is really focus on publishing a book. I had this really amazing idea that came to me a few weeks ago, and it's really like captivated my attention. So right now, instead of like identifying and thinking as a YouTube creator, I'm like, no, I want to think more as a author, as a speaker, and whatever I'm doing on YouTube is to support that new journey. So if that makes sense, because I think like being a social media creator, and especially if you tailor to one platform, it does rewire your mind in a way. When I was not exclusively, but when I was first blowing up on TikTok, I noticed that I was starting to lose the ability to develop long form content because I almost became like addicted to like the less effort and like the quick rewards. And once I realized it was harder for me to make long form content, I was like, okay, I got to shift to YouTube. So just like on TikTok, I was operating on a TikTok operating system in my mind. It rewired my brain. And then I came to YouTube, things were all right. But then being on YouTube for so long now, it's kind of rewired my brain in many different ways. And I don't want to see myself as a YouTube creator at all. Like I just don't. I don't want to really I just want to create what I create, and that's it, you know, like not really deal with the politics and the metrics of YouTube. So really our focus is to first put out a book. I feel like once I put out this book, I'm just going to feel so much gratitude and really just like proud of myself to do so. So it's really a journey of doing something for myself first. But I think once I do publish that book, it's going to be a great opportunity for me then to hit the road and start to appear on different podcasts, develop the network, engage a little bit, do live shows and things like that. So to be able to do that, I had to like shed the label of a YouTube creator and like stop thinking like a YouTube creator. Now, it's actually very difficult because I find myself every day, like my mind tries to go back to being a YouTube creator. So I'm trying to like be like, no, you're not a YouTube creator. You may be on YouTube, but it's time to think bigger. Just for ourselves. Doesn't mean anything else is bigger than YouTube, but for what I want to do, just uploading videos and like being a creator in that sense isn't necessarily the end all be all for me. There's so much more that I want to do. So I hope that makes sense. And I hope I kind of made that clear in my video, which I'm going to do another video to kind of document my thought process through this, because I truly do think I had to decompress my mind a little bit. Since I've been creating for so long, I can actually tell the difference from my creative brain 5-6 years ago versus now. I was thinking about like an author doesn't write a book. Like on YouTube, they tell you don't even make a video until you have a great title and thumbnail first. And I was like, I just don't like that process. You know, like an author doesn't begin a book or doesn't start a book if they don't have the title or packaging for the book cover yet. Or like a painter, you know, they don't lay that first brush stroke before they have a buyer. No, they just make the painting, they find the buyer, the artist, the author just writes the book, and then they get the packaging done. And I think YouTube has like rewired creative brains in a way to almost think about the marketing first versus like the contents of the substance first. And I just don't like that. So just a little bit taking back our creative energy, doing some different types of projects, kind of getting back a little bit into extending myself into other creative projects with other people. So back into like the music scene a little bit, helping out some buddies with, you know, different things like that. So that's what I meant by that video. So, you know, there'll still be uploads here and there. If there's not, I'm still going to be live streaming. You know, we still going to be hanging out here at the #1 chill spot on the internet. See, we got South Africa in the building. We got Belarus. Belarus. I like that. I like how that sounds. We got Texas in the building. We got Europe in the building. I've never been to Europe before. No, I have not. No way. It's yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm really just gonna be playing some tunes today for a little bit. We can chat. We can do whatever we want. I'm also designing some merch, so that's been like a little bit of a cool process. You got any creators in the building? Any creators in the building? Anybody here on Substack? I'm thinking about joining a Substack. I actually created my first 2 articles. I just haven't published it. And now, you know what's weird? Because I've been creating content for so long on so many platforms, like I forgot what it's like to start fresh on a new platform, and like a little bit of the anxiety that comes with like your first post. So I totally understand and resonate with anybody that's in that position right now, because I want to start publishing some stuff on Substack, and I have a few things, and then I'm like, oh, is it good enough? Is it good enough? And I'm like, stop that. Let's just get it out. We see we got Tech Dave, who just got monetized on YouTube. That's amazing. Congratulations on that. Get a little bit of a reward for your hard time that you've been putting in. We got Francis, who's a creator about to upload soon. I love it. And Gaida says, yes, that fear of visibility. You know what I think I'm afraid of is that my strength is video and sound. And Substack, now you can post videos there, but it's more of a writing app, right? So I feel like I'm going to a platform where I'm a newbie. Like, you know, there's actual writers there, people who have published books, people who like writing is their number one thing. They've been writing their whole life. So I think that's what gives me a little bit of that anxiety, you know, because writing is like a newer thing for me in the past couple of years. And really, I would say in the past 12 months where I've been writing more and more and more. So that's why I'm kind of like, when it comes to video and sound, I know my strengths and I know I can stand out. So I have much more confidence with that. But I am going to try to find a unique way to differentiate myself over on that platform, and still using sound and video away, but still making writing the main focus, you know? Right now we're playing a little bit of Berlioz. I'm actually gonna go to Berlioz in Los Angeles in November. So if anyone's out there in Los Angeles, let me know. I'm gonna be out there a little bit. I got some podcasts to appear on, got some people to meet up with, and I'm gonna go to this show. Lisa says, hey Heinz, how do you deal with past mistakes, guilt and shame? You know, I've had some regrets when it has come towards a little bit of finances in the last few years. Last few years have been great financially, and I was like doing my taxes. I'm like, man, you made a lot of money, and then I'm also like, man, I spent a lot of money, and then I was kind of really upset that I didn't invest more of that money, and I feel like, you know, there were times where I was hiring people for different things, and I feel like I was kind of overpaying on certain things. So I feel like there was a couple bad, you know, business transactions I made. And when I was really going through my accounting, I was like, man, you overspent here, you could have been better here financially. And then when I was adding it all up, I'm like, man, I could have took that and invested it in a property here. I could have took that and invested it here, or done this with that. And I think about this almost every single day. I have this regret, but I had to remind myself, like, you don't know what you don't know, right? Like I entered a new position, a new realm in life. I entered a new financial bracket, and you just don't know what you don't know. So I kind of look at the pain of the regret whatever your pains are, if you have guilt or shame, I just look at that like this is the seed of me learning that lesson. You don't know what you don't know. I have to now take that knowledge and move forward. And, you know, life is a learning experience. You know, we're going to make mistakes regardless, as long as we learn from them. We already know that. It sounds very cliche, but it's true. But I had to catch myself and be like, listen, don't be in the past. Really come back to the present. You know, be grateful for where you are, everything in this moment. You know, we have life, we have breath, you know, we have food on our plate, we have a roof over our head, and let's be excited about the future. Let's get excited about righting the wrongs of the past, right? Not worrying about them, not wishing we can go back, but being like, listen, I didn't know what I didn't know. I know now. And when the opportunity comes again, or whatever it may be, we're not going to make that same mistake twice. And we're going to make more mistakes in the future in different realms. But at the end of the day, I really do think it taxes our energy a little bit too much. We should really try to come back to the present. And I love this question because this is something I go through every single day. Every single day I have these regrets. I'm like, man, especially now because I listen to quite a bit of financial podcasts. So I'm just kind of developing my financial literacy. And when I start to like realize different things I could have done that could have really like set me up even further in a better position where I am right now, I just like cringe. But again, you just don't know what you don't know, right? They're learning lessons. So shout out to everybody in the chat. If you haven't hit that like button, do me a favor and hit that like button right quick. That would be beautiful.
Good vibration, yeah. That's the positive vibes and we creating, yeah. The sounds that make you feel right, we keep it blazing, yeah. Forever shining this light, we keep it blazing, yeah. Boy, forever shining this light. Hey, thank the Lord, my cup is full and running over. All who never like we, I got love we know. Baby girl just text me, says she coming over. And when she reach you, want me fit turn off the phone. Turn the lights down low, turn up the stereo, yeah.
Shout out to Chronix. I think Chronix is about to put out a new album. This is Chronix and the Free Nationals. Good vibrations.
That's the positive vibes we keep creating, yeah. Sounds that make you feel right, we keep it blazing, yeah. As long as we live in this life, we keep it blazing, yeah. As long as we live in this life, yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with melodies that touch your soul, no. They're acting like the people don't need it no more. Still when she hear that good music, she hold me closer. She groovy now, I know she feeling it for sure. She moved to me and rest her head up on my shoulder. Soothingly she tell me if it turn up the sound. Have you ever been in love? Now bad vibes can't stop this good vibration, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the positive vibes and we creating, yeah. Sounds that make you feel right, we keep it blazing, yeah. Forever shining this light, we keep it blazing, blazing. Forever shining this light, ooh yeah.
Yeah, that was Chronix, Free Nationals. Big tune, Eternal Light. I actually seen Chronix one time at the grocery store in Jamaica. I was too shy to say something though. Yo, shout out to all the people who see me in public and actually come say what's up. You the real ones. I love meeting folks in person. Absolutely love it. Yeah, same prayer is one of my favorites too. And NMJ. That's a big tune. We got Tay Fleming who says, you probably heard this question, but how do you balance integrity and authenticity in your creative endeavors? It's actually a balancing act. That's the cool thing about it, right? Like you have to at times experience inauthenticity, right? Not being authentic to know what authenticity is for you. In your creative journey, you're going to do things where you realize, oh, I'm selling out. I'm going against my values. Now, in those moments, you shouldn't demonize yourself. You should just correct yourself. Again, you don't know what you don't know, right? Especially in this creative world, there's no real blueprint, right? You're paving your own way. So it's a balancing act. I like to remind myself, and I've been saying this in the last couple of videos, every single day I have this practice in the morning where I go over my goals, my philosophy, and my purpose. So I find that this allows me to kind of like stay in alignment with what my true values are. Because I'll be honest, it's very easy to be swayed away from what matters to you, especially when you have a lot of opportunities pulling you in different directions, right? And those opportunities can be very seducing. So it's a balancing act, right? There's been times where I wasn't being as authentic and I'm like, damn, I feel that. And you feel an ick inside, right? And then you develop resentment for yourself. But you have to have that grace with yourself and just correct it. And just know, like, it's not like a final destination. It's not like you reach a point and you're like, I'm authentic. And now for the rest of your life, you're just going to be this authentic being in all your creations. No, it's going to sway again because you're experimenting, you're testing, and then you're going into new realms, you're experiencing new things. And again, so over time, you just have to remind yourself day in, day out, your ultimate why. In my creator tier in our offline community, I have this lesson called the ultimate why. Knowing why you do what you do. Now, the why can change, it can evolve, but it's very important that you know why you do what you do. My ultimate why is I truly believe that creating for me is kind of like a personal development tool. It's almost like a sparring partner. It's almost like this way where I can master my craft. And in that pursuit of mastering my craft, I learn more about myself. And then I bring opportunities my way that challenge me to grow past my insecurities or my doubts, right? So I love that. That is my ultimate why. Now, have I shifted away from that why? Yeah, I have many times. And again, it doesn't feel good, but you're going to be inauthentic to know what authenticity is. You're going to have seasons where you experience everything you don't like just to know what you do like. And that's fine, right? So you have to try to keep yourself accountable. Again, just being clear on your ultimate why. I recommend having the same practice. Even if it's just once a week, you sit down, you have a list, and you go over what you feel your purpose is in this season, what your philosophy is, what are your beliefs, what are your current goals? Because it's just so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to start racing ahead of ourselves. And I know a lot of us have like ADHD type of brains, and it's so easy to be running in 45 different directions and then get lost and then realize you just created a whole new world for yourself that you don't even want to be in. So I always look at it like a balancing act and not a final destination. And I know, like, when I reach the next realm of where I'm trying to go, I'm going to be challenged. My authenticity will be challenged, and I will make some mistakes. I will probably step out of bounds at times, but as long as we know our why, our purpose, what we're doing, we can correct ourselves quickly. I think as long as you can correct yourself quickly, that's all that matters, right? Just like when you fail fast, you fail forward and you learn quickly, it's all good. But if you don't correct yourself quickly, that's kind of where it gets sticky. But that's why I like creating. That's why I love this journey, and I recommend it to everybody, not even as a way to make money or like a business, but simply as a way to like learn more about yourself, right? Like anybody that gets on camera, 99% of people had an insecurity about getting on camera. Anybody you see and you're like, man, that person's good at talking or doing this, 100% they were in a position at some point where they didn't believe they could do it. They were insecure about how they looked, how they sounded, but the practice, the pursuit, and the desire to get better allowed them to dive deep into their craft, overcome those doubts, those insecurities, and then now they are who you see them to be, right? So my next era, like I always say, is, I want to do things that challenge me. I never thought I could write a book. So now I'm using the creative practice to challenge me to write a book. I never thought that I could do public speaking. Now I'm using my practice to bring me opportunities that's going to call me to public speaking, How do you organize your thoughts to deliver a message? You divide so much information in an organized way for others to receive. How do you do it? Well, thank you. Sometimes I think my thoughts are a little bit scrambled, so I'm trying to get better. But you see, that's like the artistic mind, right? Like we're always critiquing ourselves. So I'm going to receive that compliment in like full love. Thank you. I think about, so I do write, right? But like, again, writing for me is just a way to jot down my ideas. But if I have too much writing, like I can't write a whole video out and then memorize it. It's just very hard. So what I do is if I have a topic, if I have an idea, I'm kind of talking to myself about it. And then any opportunity I have with people in my life, I'm talking about that thing with them. Now, I don't tell them. Like the video I posted yesterday, where I'm talking about how I want to shed the label of being a YouTube creator. I also was talking about that with multiple people. Like I never wrote anything down. I was talking about that with multiple people. And as I'm talking to them, I'm really paying attention to seeing if they're understanding what I'm saying. And if they're not understanding what I'm saying, then I know there's a leak in my message and I have to fix it. Or I need a better metaphor, or just be a little bit more simplified a message, right? I believe simple language is beautiful because anybody can understand it. And so I'm always kind of just like exercising my ideas in real time to myself on live stream. I come here on live stream to exercise ideas as well. Like anything I thought about this morning or write about, come on here, exercise them with you, but then also in conversations. And that has been like the magic to what I do, because then I get like real reception. But the key is I don't tell them. I don't tell people, hey, I'm working out a topic right now. I just slide it into the conversation so I can observe them and see this, like, are they getting it? Because if I tell them like, hey, I got this video idea, listen to it. A lot of people aren't able to be honest with you, because they don't want to hurt your feelings. So they may just pretend to pay attention, and they may tell you like, it's amazing, but like, they're just saying that because they're your friend. So I don't tell people I'm like exercising my ideas. I just work it into the conversation and see how like engaged they are with the topic. If they're not engaged at all with the topic, then I'm like, I need to work on this. This isn't making sense, because the way we hear things in our head sometimes doesn't translate through our mouth the same, and then sometimes isn't received by others the same as well. Sorry for the scramble there. Someone says, I do that, but with myself, with full conversations. The problem is sometimes I can't remember if I told them or not. Yeah. Someone says, learn that deep breathing helps recollect yourself to the present moment, wherever you are. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Shout out to Spoken for Tonality. This is actually back in 2020, 2021. This is the sound I would listen to before I would hop on a podcast. I think for like 3 years, my Spotify Wrapped, this was the most played song. What is your outlook on discipline and motivation? I like how these are all cohesive questions to the conversation we're having. I think motivation isn't something that we should wait for. I think it's something we definitely have to like fan that flame. Every single day I experience some form of resistance, procrastination, or this feeling like I don't want to do the very thing I want to do. So I find like just consistency, setting up for me it's like setting up rituals and routines for myself creates a structure that allows me to be free within my structures and allows me then to accomplish. And then the more I execute, the more I bring things into fruition, the more self-belief I have, and the easier it is then to like do the work again, again, and again. But I just think like motivation is like the wind, like it comes and it goes, and it's not really the force you should rely on. Like I'm not a even with creativity, I don't think like you should create just when you're in the mood. I think if you want to be a hobbyist, then I think that's fine. But I think if you want to turn it into like an actual career, you have to create a lifestyle for yourself and rituals and routines where you just go and you do the work. Like every single morning I write. So every single morning every single morning I do the exact same thing. I wake up, I usually just shower right away, go downstairs, I do some morning pages, make some tea, go for a walk, come back from the walk, a little meditation, then I do some writing, and then I go over my vision and purpose, right? And that's like a non-negotiable. I do it every single day. It's not like I want to do it every single day, but I do it every single day. And it sets me up. This morning, I had such a good morning. I ended up doing a podcast. And then out of that podcast, I ended up writing a Substack article. So by like 9 a.m., I just felt like so accomplished already. And then the rest of the day so much easier. It's like I created motivation for myself in the morning versus the other way around. Now, there's things that happen in life that just like get us excited. And it's almost as if there's a force of motivation that carries us through. And that's great, like ride that wave, but we can't rely on it. We can't rely on it. So, discipline is simply just doing the work. Like there's really not a hack, it's really just like, okay, understanding that like my mood shouldn't depict what I'm about to do always. Sometimes we have to override that. And again, once you're like 20, 30% into the process, I find like you're pretty into things now, right? And then you're into the swing of things. Like I wasn't even in the mood to come to the studio a couple hours ago, but now I'm here, right? And now it's no problem. So over time it gets better, Like over time you start to learn your own mind, your strengths, your weaknesses. I think that's important, is just learning yourself, right? Like I know, like I could be a chronic procrastinator, So I had to act quick sometimes. I know if I don't have like a good morning routine for myself, like I get real scrambled. It's easy for my mind to get scrambled, to get like ahead of itself. So just having that routine in the morning really sets that tempo and that rhythm for the day. So, but that takes time, it takes time. And then also just having like some type of vision for yourself. It doesn't have to be like a grand vision, but just like having some type of vision for yourself in this season or this month or this week helps for you to be disciplined, because you know what you're kind of working towards. If you feel like you're just supposed to be disciplined and you have no reason why, it's a lot harder, right? So you have to also inspire yourself, right? You have to also motivate yourself. You have to generate these things within yourself and not rely on it from other people. And then once you do that, it's really, it feels good to do so. You're like, wow, like I can do things. It's nice to prove yourself wrong. When you didn't think you could do something, but you do it, and then you're like, oh, okay, I can do anything I put my mind to, right? That self-belief is everything. Stepping into things, believing in ourselves is everything. It's truly the starting point. It's truly the source. It's so important. Like I've experienced when I first started making music videos, I didn't know what I was doing, but I believed I could do it. And I would just show up and I would do it. And like the excitement, the natural joy. And I believe there's just like a natural mystic in the air that comes and just works with you when you have that type of energy. And then sometimes it's almost as if like the more we know, the more aware we become of our failures, then we start to doubt our process, and fear comes into the process. And then when you start something with that doubt and that fear, I think it's just like poison for the soil, right? Like, just imagine like that idea is a seed, and instead of like pouring water on it, you're pouring Pepsi on it, right? That's the fear. That's the uncertainty, or the doubt. So I really try to shift and just like rewire my mind and be like, I can do it. I can do it. And I always tell myself, even if I do it and I fail, I know how to then. Failure is just information, right? Action produces information, and action produces transformation. So as long as I have the information on what to fix, then I'm gonna go fix it, and it's gonna be all right. So I find this a lot easier just to be in motion. Sometimes you can plan too much. Sometimes you could plan way too much, and the planning is really just manifested into this like clever form of procrastination, and you're tricking yourself into thinking like, no, I'm just planning more. I'm just planning more. But really, sometimes all you got to do is just, get your feet wet, get right into it, produce the information, get some failures under your belt so you realize it's not that bad. Failure is like a nutrient for our foundation, it's going to happen. It has to happen. So the less sensitive we are to failure, the quicker we can move. We do bloom with care, not always speed, but I do believe in speed as well at times, especially when we're over procrastinating. Someone says, how do you deal with perfectionism? Also, the fear of putting opinions or thoughts out to the public when there may be a possibility you might change your mind one day. Well, the thing is, you're going to change your mind one day, right? Like, think back like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and how much has your mind changed? There's probably a bunch of things, right? So I just lean into one, like, if I say something today and my mind changes 2 years later, that's just a sign of growth, right? More so, like, what you should do is like come online. Like, I always try to really tell you guys, like, I'm going through it too. A lot of things I'm winging, I try to be like, hey, I'm figuring it out with you, right? So go online more like a guide, right? And not like, hey, this is the undeniable truth. This is fact. If you're like making a video and you're giving advice or whatever you're doing, just offer it more as a guide. So you don't feel this pressure to be like some expert, but really like, hey, it's more like, friend, this is what I'm thinking and learning in this season, and this is my offering to you, and it works for me. It might work for you. And if your mind changes, that's exactly what it's supposed to do one day. You understand? Like, we grow, we evolve, we have new experiences, and then it's like, my mind has changed a lot from like 7 years ago on just different things, worldly things. My mind has changed a lot just in the last 6 months, on different things. And that's just growth. That's just beautiful. So what I do is like, everything I put up online, for me, it's like when I'm like 70 or 80, I'm going to enjoy going back and watching and seeing my growth and being like, oh man, look how silly you were in that decade. Look how silly you were. Like, you thought that, look how you grew. Look how that idea expanded, Yeah, maybe you were wrong, but like, you were still on the pursuit of truth, and that's all that matters. So I truly actually don't really worry about that much. And I'm also not the type of person to just like I actually marinate on my thoughts quite a bit. Like, I don't just run to the internet with my thoughts like some people do. Just because I like to work out things in my own mind, just so I know they make sense to me. So yeah, that's how I do that. I also look at the internet like, I don't look at the internet or anything I do like a museum. I look at everything like a digital whiteboard. Let me pause that. Like a digital whiteboard. It's almost as if everything I'm doing is like I'm sharing my doodles and my plans, but like, I don't approach the internet like, hey, everything has to be perfect and this is my Mona Lisa. It's more like I'm just showcasing everything, and I often will like release or like share something, and I already know that that's just the first iteration of that idea, and I'm gonna work on it, and I may expand on it after seeing what people think about it, or just, you know, me going through my own time with it. So I think it gets a little bit trickier. Like if you're somebody who goes to the internet and like maybe talks a lot about politics or like worldly events, and then like your opinions are changing every other week, then it's kind of like, oh, this person doesn't really seem to have their feet in the grass. Like I've seen a lot of streamers who speak about politics, and like their beliefs are just constantly switching, and then I would be a little bit more embarrassed with that. But I'm pretty mindful of what I share, and I'm also like, there's aspects of my mind I keep sacred. You know, there's like parts of my mind that just aren't for the internet. Just like, you know, like I don't really share much about my daughter with the internet. I just think everybody should kind of like think about what do they want to put on the internet, and what do they want to keep sacred. I think that's like an important conversation to have with yourself as a creator, because you don't want to pimp out your personality just for views or like trust. Like you don't want to be vulnerable just because you think people are going to like you more. Like vulnerability is technically like a process to overcome shame and guilt that you have with something, and you're like finally saying like, I release it off of me and I can even just give it to the world. It's not like people who are vulnerable just to get followers. That's kind of just like a form of manipulation, I think, or like a tactic, like now a marketing tactic. But that's where you will find regret maybe in the future, because you're like, oh, I released that. And again, you don't know what you don't know. So if you do feel like you say a little bit too much, then you know for the future and you correct yourself and you know what's sacred to you and what's not. Like again, we talked about earlier, you're going to do things that are out of alignment, and there's nothing bad about that, right? It's just giving you information on how you want to move forward. So once you have more information on how you want to move forward, you correct your ways and you move in the direction that matters. But I think we should, yeah, not to stress it too much, you know, not to stress it too much. Sipping on some black tea. I actually got I was at the Asian supermarket the other day, and they actually had some like good loose leaf tea that's in like these really good tea bags, organic too. So holds me down. Also went to the honey. My thoughts are rambled today. I went to the honey bee farm, and I got like just like amazing honey. I got cacao honey, I got vanilla honey, I got ginger honey, and then I just got some classic honey. So I'll be at home now, just like dipping the honey in my teas, or sometimes just scooping the honey for myself, you know? I think if I make the next tea video I make, whenever that is, whenever I feel called to, I'll pull out the honeys. Someone said make a tea farm and a product. I actually went to a tea farm in Kenya. That was super inspiring. And then in my goals list, it's still, I have the goal of making a tea product. Again, you know, one of my regrets was not doing that when I first came on the scene. But you don't know what you don't know. I tried. I just didn't know how. I was kind of focused on videos, so it is what it is. But we will do that one day. We will do that one day. I wouldn't mind having a tea shop and even working in it myself sometimes. You know, I think about that sometimes. Like in an off season where I just like don't want to be like maybe too active online. It would be cool to have a tea shop where I can actually just like work at it. Like, yeah, sure, I own it, but like I would like legit just be like at the cashier, like making tea. I'm like that. I've been thinking about that. I'm like, that'd be really cool. Like I would love that because it's like, I'd love to do it like where it's like, I don't need the money. I'm just here working, you know, and just having like conversations and serving people tea and coffee. Like that'd be a vibe. That'd be a vibe. I've thought about that so much, especially when I'm out in Japan. Like they just got so many cool, they got such cool like little shops out there. Man, I love Japan, y'all. Japan just be my vibe, y'all. Oh, we got somebody here with the super chat. I always, sorry, I always forget their super chats. I'm discouraged because I'm starting from square one in my career. Went through a health incident and I'm struggling to find work. Oh, why can't I see the rest of this? Let me blow this up 1 second. Oh, well, first off, thank you for the super chat and sending love and prayers to the health incident that you went through. Right now is definitely a tricky time for a lot of people. Economy's in a tricky place, and uncertainty is always like one of the scariest things. I always try to lean into like when I'm in between chapters or when I'm in a liminal space, I actually try to cultivate excitement. We're usually not excited when like we don't have an answer or we don't know what our next step is. But I always try to remind myself like anything could happen. I think we're like so hardwired to think the worst can happen because bad things do happen. But in those times, I really think is an opportunity to try to cultivate like a more positive mind and be like anything can happen, like in a positive tone, like anything could happen. Yeah, I don't have a job right now. I'm struggling to find work, but wow, the most amazing thing could come to my doorstep tomorrow. Like I've been at like the craziest lows in life and then out of nowhere something happens and I'm like, boom, I'm on a high. I often say new lows produce new highs. I find that it's almost like a slingshot. Like anytime like my life gets like real low and it's not low because like I intentionally like just was being destructive or anything, like just, you know, bad things just happen in life. Bad things just happen in life. But I noticed it's almost like a slingshot. I'll go into a low space for a while. It could be months, it could be even like 2 years. But then boom, I get slingshotted into like a new high position and life is in alignment and things are flowing. So I send love your way, brother. You know, I hope you find work. I think you're going to, you know, something's gonna be aligned, but really I would try to lean away from the warring and just like, you know, get creative with like solutions, you know. There's possibilities. You have to be somebody that's rooted in solutions and rooted in possibilities because there are solutions and there are possibilities. But you should also give yourself a little grace because you went through a health incident and that's not easy. So you're also just like coming back from that, you know, like over the summer we had a loss. We had a tragic loss in our family. And I was even getting mad at myself for not like working as much. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, you just experienced a wild death in the family and you're like 3 weeks later almost critiquing yourself for not like working through it. And I had to check myself. I'm like, bro, you're a human being, not a machine. You're a human being, not a machine, you know? And just come back to that, you know, that real place and give myself that grace and be like, listen, like we can start over again with a new intention, with ease and make things better. And even if it's a slow start, even if we're behind, it's going to get better. You know, like the Tao says, when it's a good day, have gratitude because a bad day will come. And when it's a bad day, be happy because a good day is around the way. You got to love it, right? Someone says, you've always had your own dope style, but how do you feel about baggy clothes? I love baggy clothes. I love baggy clothes. If you go to Japan, if you go to Tokyo, baggy clothes are in. Even with women, like women will have like the baggiest, dopest pants. I prefer baggy pants as well. I got skinny legs, so like skinny jeans that just make me look weird. But no, I love baggy clothes. I think it's coming back. I think it's just, I don't know about like like back in the day in high school, you used to rock like the 5XL tees. I wouldn't do that, but I do have a selection of like baggier stuff that's like real loose and like flowy and everything like that. So I don't feel like here I get to like really express myself as much as I would like to in clothes, just because like I don't really feel like the shopping's that great where I live. I really just go like to thrift shops. But when I'm in Tokyo, super inspiring out there to level up on the fashion. Someone said, would you mind sharing your sun, moon, and rising? I actually don't know it, but I am a Pisces. I am a Pisces. This is a good point. Someone said, sometimes we need to remember that we're just humans and we're here to exist, enjoying life since everything is temporary. That is true. Everything is temporary. Even though there are some people who are trying to live forever right now and like some billionaires and stuff. We'll see if that works. We're in like some interesting times, some weird times, you know, since AI really advanced on the scene. It's like, just seems like we're like accelerating like crazy with technology. I was playing with this AI thing earlier and you could like fully just make a song. It was weird. It was weird. Someone said, you made me learn about mindfulness when making and drinking tea. I use the same approach in my therapy sessions with my children as I train child psychology. I love it. Yeah, I think the reason why I like tea is it's beyond the actual just like the taste of the drink. Is I just think it's like a mindful practice. I think it's like a daily reminder to slow down. You know, you can't drink a cup of tea fast, nor can you make it fast, especially if it's loose leaf, right? You got to take it out, you got to boil the water, you got to steep it for a few minutes, then you got to sip on it because it's hot, you know, and you just got to enjoy it. You got to be with yourself. And in the mornings, what I try to do is, as I'm boiling the water, I try to like I just go over different things I'm grateful for. And then it kind of sounds corny, kind of sounds cringy, but you know, sometimes corny and cringy things really do work. And then when I'm pouring the tea into the pot and like steeping the leaves, I try to identify 3 things I'm proud of, you know, past or present. And then as I'm like sipping the tea, I try to like meditate on 3 things that I love about myself. Because I think like if you come to the conversation of self-love, I think self-love is something that you build and have to maintain. And it's very easy to actually fall out of love with yourself over time if you're not actually kind of putting in the work. I don't like using the word work, but you know what I mean? Like it actually takes effort. And I found myself in a place where I was like overly critiquing myself and I wasn't really loving myself as much. So I realized I'm like, well, like, what are you really doing in this season that supports that foundation with yourself? And I realized there wasn't a lot. So I had to bring in certain practices again and, you know, just be a little bit more resilient with that, you know, like make sure that love you have with yourself, you treat it as something sacred and it's a top priority, right? And that just naturally pours into others as well. So you got to stay on top of it. You know, you got to maintain it. Just like if you're in a relationship, you got to maintain it with others too, right? Like if you got friends, you got to keep up to date with them. You got to check up on them. You got to like be there for them. You really got to be there for yourself. And sometimes we're not. Sometimes we forget to. It's crazy, you know, and then you realize you're like, what happened? You look in the mirror, you're like, what happened? How did I get here? It's almost like you're in like I don't know about y'all, but it's like, I've had years where I'm like, whoa, that was a blur. Like what happened? You know, it almost seems like the whole year was a blur and like you were kind of not completely in alignment with yourself and you just come out and you can see it and you're just like, whoa, what happened? But as long as you learn, I think it's all right, you know, and we are. I'm really somebody that just like tries to learn quick. I only have deep regrets if it's like I'm repeating the same mistake over and 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 over. And I've done that too. But Dia says, hey Heinz, do you have any advice for people who have big goals and want to achieve them but don't fully believe in themselves? I would actually say you do believe in yourself to an extent, because you wouldn't have big goals if you didn't believe in yourself. Like those big ideas wouldn't even come to your mind if you didn't have the belief in yourself. What I would say is you probably need more evidence, right? Like sometimes we think confidence is just this feeling that comes into us and we just have it, but confidence also comes from producing evidence. So it's like whatever those big goals are, it's like what are you doing right now in this season, today, tomorrow, the next day, this week, this month, towards those big goals. And as you're taking those steps, you're producing more evidence and you're getting closer. So then you're going to have the confidence and the belief. But the fact that you have a big goal, to me, already shows that you're a big thinker, you're a dreamer. You understand? So you do have the belief already within you. Maybe you're just not practicing and exercising that belief. Like we have to, like again, confidence isn't something that just sweeps us off our feet all the time. It's actually something that we're building, we're creating. And if you don't exercise your confidence, just like if you stop going to the gym, what happens? You lose the muscles. But what happens when you go back to the gym? You have muscle memory, and it's almost as if like 2 weeks in the gym, you almost get it back, right? So same thing with our confidence and our belief. Like, yeah, if we stop working at it, we start to lose it, it starts to erode. But as soon as we start exercising it again, there's muscle memory with it as well. And we get back on track and we keep going, have that rhythm, have that momentum, right? Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So we had a super chat. JVB, I've recovered from the health incident. I just wish employers could believe me when I say that I'm ready to work. I thank God for getting better. I think you're in the right mindset because you're already thanking God, you're in gratitude. And if you have a belief in God, it means you have probably a strong spiritual foundation. And God would want you to have faith and know that He is working everything out for you behind the scenes and going to put the right employer in front of you who believes in your capabilities. So I would say lean in on your faith 100%. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. Someone says, do you think there's a spiritual meaning of not being able to handle tea? I was doing fine 1 year ago and still love it, but my gut seems to not like it. No, I wouldn't say there's a spiritual meaning behind that. I would just say maybe your gut is not agreeing with it. I go through seasons where like certain foods will just start to irritate me and my body's just like, no. And I think we just have to listen to it. Our body's giving us a signal, but I personally don't think there's a spiritual reason behind that. I would just say maybe right now in your season, I don't know, those herbs or whatever it is, the gut is just signaling, no, this isn't it right now. And maybe just listen to that or try some different types of tea or to slow down on it. I'm not sure. Number one chill spot on the internet. We be chilling. We be chilling. We be chilling. I gotta go to Jamaica soon. Quick little trip. I almost tried to convince myself like that I was too busy. But then I was like, what are you doing, bro? Again, you're not a machine. You're a human being. You're not a machine. You're a human being, you know? I'm looking on Pinterest a little bit right now. Any of y'all be hanging out on Pinterest? Pinterest really be having the gems. Pinterest really be having the vibes sometimes. Go back to live mode. Buds and Brushes and JA. Hey, Buds and Brushes, I'm going to be in Jamaica around October 2nd to October 10th. October 2nd to October 10th type of vibes. That's when I should be there. Oh, I just put it on the screen. I didn't even mean to do that. Let me put it on the screen while I'm just browsing a little bit. We could do that. We could do that. Yeah, let me. Hope y'all don't mind. I'm gonna browse. I'm gonna browse Pinterest a little bit. I find Pinterest is such like a better like social media platform if you just want to scroll, because like I've never that's fire. I've never left Pinterest and like been like, oh my god, like I just wasted time. I've always feel inspired visually. Definitely been trying to dive into some jewelry. My jewelry game is weak right now. We'll figure it out though. We're gonna get the jewelry up one day. We gonna get it up. But I've been looking for ideas for merch designs and just like inspo. So kind of a nice beanie. It's not bad. Kind of vibes. Ooh, that's vibes to me. That's vibes to me. I'm like that. I'm like that. Let me save that. This is vibes too. I like that. What happened? What happened, fam? What just happened? Oh no. Where'd it go? Houston, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Jeez. Damn, the Pinterest don't want to be pinning. It just disappeared on me. Crazy. Yeah, try scrolling on Pinterest. Yo, it's just like inspo. It's just good inspo. for whatever, you know, like home stuff, fashion, ideas. It's much better than Instagram. Much better than Instagram. I don't really be scrolling Instagram like that. It's not really my vibe. The thing I like about Pinterest too is that it gives you links to actually buy this stuff sometimes, which could be a problem. You can end up spending a lot of money on this app. But there's a lot of creators who just create on Pinterest. We've seen some creators who easily make like a nice $20,000 a month just on Pinterest. You know, just doing their thing over there. I think it's cool. Ooh, I like this. That's cool. I need some new beanies, y'all. I need some new beanies. That's interesting. I'm a furniture junkie. I think in my damn man, what's with the internet here? It just does not want to work. No, that's weird. I don't like that. No. Oh, actually, I bought a couch from this company. I think in my 50s, I want to like get into like furniture design. I don't know how you even get into that, but I think by then I'll be able to figure it out. Do any of you ever like think about like what you're going to be creating in your 50s or 60s? I do. I feel like I'm a toddler right now. I feel like when I'm in my 50s and 60s, I'm going to be like, man, you were a toddler back then. You were just getting started. 'Cause I really do feel like that. I really do feel like that. Number one chill spot on the internet. We just chilling. A little bit more. Oh, they got the spoons though. Check these spoons. These are fire. I'm a nerd for unique kitchen supplies. I like that. That's kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of fire. Kind of fire. Oh my god, look at this egg holder. That's fire. That's different. I like that. That's different. That's different. I like that. Spiritual Nomad says, hey Heinz, I was just wondering what was your journey from going from a 9 to 5 transitioning to working for yourself full time? Yeah, it was quite hard, but it's full of excitement. When I first transitioned a long time ago, I did have support because at the time I lived at my mom's house, and then I ended up moving out. What I like about working for myself is that I find that I have to exercise my brain in more creative ways. So once I started working for myself for about 3 or 4 years, I did freelancing, and it was incredibly hard, but like I would make things happen because you have to get more creative. There's no complacency. And then about after 4 years, I kind of wanted to make a shift, and I was kind of lost with what I was doing. And I knew I wanted to go in a different direction, but I needed some time to figure that out. So I ended up getting a job editing wedding videos at a company. But the good thing about this job was it still gave me flexibility. Like I didn't have to be there every day at a certain time. I just had to get the work done. So I worked there for about 2 years. And then after 2 years, I noticed that I felt very complacent and that like I was just going to work and I was just clocking in and catching my check, which is cool. But like I wasn't even like working my mind in creative ways to like figure out like different types of things I should be doing because I had this like safety net. So I ended up quitting that job. And then from there, I've never had a job again because I like, I like, I like having a little bit of pressure. I like having to be creative and, come up with new ideas, new projects, but working for yourself and going down another direction does take a lot of work. Like they often say, you go from a 9 to 5 to like a I don't know, like a 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. type of vibe. I did work a lot of hours, and still to this day, like I don't do much but like work, and I do many things beyond like making these videos. Like there's a lot of things I'm doing behind the scenes to like invest into other things that I'm doing, but like majority of the day I'm on my computer or majority of the day I'm doing something working towards things. It's kind of like a full commitment lifestyle for me, which I'm fine because I actually enjoy. I kind of enjoy doing that. It's just how I am. It's how I've always been. I've always kind of just in my spare time worked. Like I don't really sit on my. I don't really. If I'm at home, I'm rarely ever on my couch. Maybe from like 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. I might watch a movie, but I'm like rarely ever on my couch. I'm usually like sitting on my computer, doing something, editing, writing, maybe sourcing ideas, maybe planning, maybe I'm scrolling Pinterest, some Zoom calls, whatever it may be. And then beyond that, like my mindfulness, I do like to just like have my tea and chill. But, I like working for myself. They say that we're moving into the gig economy. So traditional work over the next 10 years is going to start to slim down a lot more. And we're going to see a lot more people in the gig economy. So a lot more people developing multiple skills and kind of like working as freelancers. We're already kind of seeing it, but it's a personality thing. Like I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think neither or is better either. I just think you have to ask yourself like what's best for you. I just kind of like flexibility within my week, so I really struggled with a 9 to 5. I really struggled with the structure of like being there every day. I'm the type of person like if I want to have a slow morning, I want to have a slow morning. It's just how I am. And the flexibility is nice. I always wanted to be able to, if my daughter was sick, I wanted to be able to pick her up from school and, she could stay home for the day. I wanted that flexibility. So that was really important for me. So I kind of just worked within my boundaries. I knew I had to build something for myself that didn't require me to travel or didn't require me to like move to a different city. When I was doing music videos and things like that, I was climbing the ladder and I was doing quite well, but all the opportunities I was getting were in Los Angeles. And then I even had the opportunity to get a visa and move to Los Angeles. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm working on things that are actually not in alignment for the lifestyle I'm going to need to have for the next 10 years. So that's why I decided, that the internet was going to be my best pathway to find that perfect medium for myself where I could express myself, make money, but still have flexibility and be there for my daughter, having that flexibility. So that's why I do what I do. Now, my daughter graduates in 2 years. So in 2 years, I'll probably start to like do some more things in other cities and start to expand. And that's when I'm kind of like thinking when I'll start to tour and do some events. But you kind of have to ask yourself, what do you want your lifestyle to be like? What do you see your life like over the next 5 years? And then work towards that. Like maybe freelancing isn't actually in alignment for how you want your life, right? So getting clear on that is really important, I find. Zinjan says, I don't think there's a wrong decision, rather a choice. Different paths, same destination. What do you think? Exactly. I literally do not think there is a wrong choice. I just think it depends on your personality, right? Like, just like you can't say is being a plumber or an electrician better. It just depends on what that individual likes, right? Like I would say like, a lot of people who own a business, like it never turns off for them. Other people who have a 9 to 5 have the luxury of closing it down for the day and enjoying their time. it just depends, you know. And again, like you can get like a pension, you can get so many benefits with a company and all those type of things, which you're not going to get if you're freelancing. So there's just so many things to think about. I think, and it's very easy. Obviously, I may even do this, and if I do, I'm sorry. It's very easy to romanticize like working for yourself, but it also could be the worst thing ever for certain people. You know, it really comes down to a personality thing and life design, how you want to live your life, how you want to design your life. And really, we are the only ones that can figure that out for ourselves, right? Nobody else can design our life but ourselves. So I think it just takes experimentation, you know. I just think it, takes having different experiences and, seeing what works and then just going from there. And who knows, maybe for 20 years you are in a 9 to 5 and then maybe out of nowhere you are inspired and you want to start a business and then you pivot. Or maybe you're a freelancer for 20 years and then you get an opportunity to work at a company that's really in alignment for you, right? It's not like even one path for your whole life, right? Different opportunities arise and everything like that. So I think fluidity with yourself is really important, you know? And sometimes you may think like something there, you want to do something and then you may get there and then you realize this isn't exactly what I want to do, right? Like even being a YouTube creator is not my end all be all, which is what I was trying to say in my video that I posted yesterday. Like it's just a label I want to shed. It's not something I could see myself doing as my main focus forever, right? Now there was a point back in 2021 where I was like, yeah, I could be a YouTube creator forever. That's already changed, And I think that's all right. Sometimes we have goals and they're not the final goal. It's just like a potential destination to set us on a path, and we're still on our path, but that goal is necessary to get us to that point. And then once we get to that point, we realize, okay, there's another point to get to. That's okay, but we're still on the right path. When I remember, I dedicated about 4 years, 5 years to like making music, and then I got into video production. And then there was a time where I ended up selling my camera and quitting, right? I was like, okay, I don't even know what I want to do anymore. And then I felt very upset that I'm like, man, I probably dedicated like 7, 8 years to like these creative crafts, and I don't even know what I want to do with them. And I felt like I wasted my time. And then in hindsight, you look forward and then you realize, when I came into making my own things and I started to speak on camera, I realized that I had a decade of production skills that can now be applied to my own thing. I'm like, oh, I'm a full production house myself. It never went to waste. It actually came right into purpose, but just way later, way later. So I always think that's really cool. Like, even like if you work at McDonald's, it's like the customer service that you learn there, that may be a necessary skill you're learning for something in the future, for your own business or whatever it may be, right? Like every step, every position that you're in, you're kind of like taking a little bit of experience and knowledge and, carrying it forward, which is really cool. And then that's how you end up having your own unique traits and skills because of all these different experiences that you've had, right? So that is what makes you unique as well. I've had so many different type of jobs, and I can actually go back and look at different jobs and pinpoint the different skills I acquired in those jobs, even if I hated those jobs. Like when I edited Indian weddings for a couple of years, I learned how to, that was like boot camp. Them weddings are wild. Like you have to be on your toes. There's so much stuff to capture. They're long days, like 14-hour days, 5, 6 days long. And then you have hundreds, you have like 30, you probably have like 200, 300 hours of footage to edit. And then you have to figure out how to, I had to edit about 100 hours of footage in 24 hours because you actually had to like edit the whole wedding in one day to play it at the reception, right? Now, I didn't love that job, but like it really enhanced my videography and my speed, right? I was basically creating like, these Indian weddings, like the the deliverables, the actual videos you give them, these are like documentaries. Indian weddings are no joke. Like these things are long. Like these are like 7-day events, like every day, 4 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, 14 hours. Like it's long, but I learned so much, you know. Now actually, like let's say this live stream, you know, it's already, we've been here for an hour and a half, and I'm actually recording it to my camera. I could take that into my session and I have the tools to go through it really fast and edit and know exactly how I want to structure it because of my experience making Indian wedding films. Now, it sounds so weird, right? Like, what would Indian wedding films have to do with anything that I'm doing now, like podcasting? But really, so much. I learned so many skills in that season. So I always try to say, have gratitude for where you are right now. Even if you're in a position or a job that you hate, you really don't know like what you are learning in this season and how you're going to be able to carry that forward. You just don't know. You're not going to know until it happens. Zinjan says, I'll only ask because I'm at a crossroad and I have a job offer and I feel like my current job, and I like my current job and I see myself liking both. My intuition is leaning both ways. Maybe give it a little bit more time. You know, maybe get down in a journal and start to write down all the positive and negatives. But really what you should be doing is this, man, have a lot of gratitude because it's like you have two opportunities and you like both. Like regardless which way you go, you know, you're happy with both. An amazing place to be. At a crossroads with like two decisions that you're going to be happy with. That's amazing. Found this artist. His name is Shabaka. He makes like I think one of the records is called like Black Meditation. You can almost call it like, you know, meditation music, kind of like African inspired. But he's just got crazy sounds. You know, absolutely love it. I think he's worked with Andre 3002 on some flute stuff. So we got the UK in the building. Shout out to the UK. I've been meaning to come out to London and stuff like that. I got a lot of people out in London. Never, you know what's crazy? I've never been to the UK. I've never been to Europe. I've only been to Germany in the airport, but it's like a whole part of the world I've never touched foot in. It's just like, it's actually kind of crazy. I need to come out there. I need to experience. We also got Ireland. Shout out to Ireland. I actually was just hearing on a podcast yesterday that Ireland's very beautiful. You know, like a lot of big corporations actually park their companies in Ireland. Like I think Apple does as well for like tax purposes. Something I just learned recently. It's like a way for them to bypass paying too much tax in America. They're rich, be knowing how to keep their money, and they want us to spend all our money. Nonsense, you know? Crazy. We got to educate ourselves. It's really unfortunate. I'm just on Twitter right now, and I can see that there's a guy in America that is scheduled to be executed despite having a clear and convincing evidence of his innocence. Absolutely horrible. I don't agree with death penalty. I just think it's inhumane regardless. I just don't agree with it. And this is awful that this person is going to face that while proving innocence. I think they proved his innocence through DNA, and like the governor of Missouri is just trying to like push it through. Absolutely awful. Internet can be depressing sometimes. So horrible to hear. See Tyler here too. I don't know if any of you know Tyler, but people be hating on this girl so much. I don't know why. That's terrifying. It is terrifying. I pray for a more peaceful world. I think peace is a process. Like I just don't think it's something that you like snap your fingers, you know? Like I think it's just gonna take like decades and 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 decades. But hopefully it gets better and better and better over time, you know? Every country has its own hurdles. You know, the world's in a tricky place these days. Someone said, what is the case? Oh, I just lost it. I just refreshed my feed. Sorry. I think his name was Marcus, if you want to look into it. Oh, let me see if I can find it again. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, his name is Marcellus Williams. I'm not sure the details. I just keep hearing about it, and I know this one company I heard about, Innocence Project. I heard them on a podcast before. They work on a lot of these things. Yeah, that's awful. It's unfortunate. Someone said, why did you stop making us a cup of tea? Go back to 2 days ago. I uploaded a video, and the title is literally, I made you a cup of tea. So go back to a video 2 days ago. So I got you. Gotcha. Yeah, I make you a cup of tea. I also have a really fire teapot in that video. Really fire teapot. Someone said, since COVID, everything feels disconnected and different. Not to be pessimistic, but the world is crazy. No, the world has definitely been crazier since COVID, since the pandemic. And I also think like time moves a lot faster. Me and my daughter talk about this quite a bit. Like we're always like, time moves differently since the pandemic. It's very interesting. Time moves different, but I am truth. I do agree. The world has been very weird since 2020. It's been extremely weird. And it seems like it's just getting worse, but you know, I pray there's a shift. I'm an optimistic person, you know. I do think there's enough people in the world that, you know, want to see a better world and that are willing to create a better world. So, you know, I think we will, but, you know, sometimes you go through some rough times to get to the good times. It's like a weird universal truth, you know. Someone said that teapot is on a whole other level. I want to start collecting teapots from your inspo. Yeah, collecting teapots is actually a vibe because there's so many unique ones. I have them around my living room, like little like decor pieces. Um, I found that one on Amazon though, so to be honest, you could probably find it on Amazon. Type in like dragon teapot or something like that. You might be able to find it. When I copped it, there was only like 3 left, but maybe they restocked. Gratitude is the main attitude. What do you recommend to shift into a more abundant mindset? First off, gratitude. Gratitude, be an observer, look around, look at earth, look at creation, see how beautiful it is, expand your mind, be a little bit more optimistic, remind yourself that you have all that you need, and also that all your needs are coming to you at speed. You just have to start to develop like a bigger mindset. Like sometimes it's harder to imagine a life that we don't have or like that our parents didn't have. But like you have to have a little bit of a delulu energy, a little bit of delusion, but mixed with the practicality that you can bring things into fruition. But I just like to go for a walk and look into nature and be like, look how grand this is, look how beautiful it is, look how intentional this design seems to be. I was actually walking this morning and I saw this slug, and I'd never seen a slug like this before in my freaking life. It looked like a cheetah. It had like cheetah print slug. I was like, this is crazy, you know? But like just being an observer and very like intentional with life, I find just helps with like my overall attitude and abundant mindset and whatnot. Like I never, maybe I'll go through seasons of like, obviously having some self-doubt, but like in my mind, it's always possible. Like if I come up with something, I'm like, that is possible. Like it's possible in my mind to like own 5 houses if I want to have 5 houses, right? There's a way to do it. And I lean into that. And, I'm always just experimenting and creating. Once you start to like prove to yourself that like you can like, once you do a few things that you feel like were quite amazing and that you're proud of, you just equip yourself with a belief to bring anything into fruition, right? Because you're like, I believe in my capabilities. But gratitude is the main attitude, Gratitude is the main attitude. Knowing that we are taken care of. Like I always say, like we guided and gifted. I don't really focus too much on like negativity and like, even when people say like, oh, don't tell people your plans because then they're going to put bad voodoo on it. I'm like the opposite. I believe like what is for me will be. So I tell people my plans so they can see the power of my words and see like the power of like speaking something into existence and hard work. And I think like when you do that, it also helps them know that like, wow, that person said they were going to do this thing and then they did it, right? It helps them cultivate more of an abundant mindset as well because they saw you create abundance for yourself and speak it before. Like I have friends who are like, man, you're doing things that you said you would do 8 years ago. It's crazy to see it come into fruition. So like to me, I'm like, I don't believe like nobody can get in my way. I don't believe like nobody's bad vibes can like stop my blessings. I just don't even go there in my mind. I'm not a very superstitious person either. Like I really just be like, I'm guided, I'm gifted, I'm protected. When bad things happen, I know like bad things just happen, you know, they happen. Like that's life. So I kind of just always more lean into rooting in solutions, possibilities, and get creative, you know, like, you know, get creative with it. Someone says, Heinz, you bugging lately? You seem stressed, bro. That, you know what's actually crazy is that like I'm in like a super good place. Like the last, especially the last couple of days, I've been like just like having a lot of fun. You know what's funny is that like I don't know, I've been on live stream for an hour and a half, so maybe I'm a little bit tired, but I'm not stressing at all. Um, I think like online there's like a parasocial thing that happens. Like sometimes people will be like, I can tell beneath your eyes that you're going through it, and I'll be like the happiest person that day, you know. Um, but I appreciate you looking out. But sometimes we have to be careful about dumb assumptions. I am getting a little bit tired though. I do need some lunch. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for lunch, but we need to find something to do for lunch. I really just wanted to come on today and just hang out. I had like no real agenda, no real plan. I hope that's all right. I figured the ones who just wanted to chill would just chill. Someone says, in my culture, we have a thing called Nazar. And so sometimes telling people your plans may cause them to get jealous and affect your plans. And I do believe in this too. Yeah, I understand that. Me, I just more so like, I actually, like I've always told my daughter my plans too. So she can see the power of like having an idea and sticking to it. Right. Like even my car I have right now, I told my daughter, like, we're going to have this car. I'm going to get this car. I told her that like 7 years ago. I told her a lot of my plans. So I like to tell people my plans just so they can see like the power in having a plan, having an idea, and sticking it through and bringing it to full fruition. And then I think like that helps them as well. Be like, man, damn, I should approach things the same way. Like it is possible. And I just believe what is for me will be, you know. That's just the way I operate. So I would say maybe that's my culture, but I understand different people have different their own cultures and ways of thinking. But that's like the OS, the operating system I operate under. And I find it works pretty well for me, which is nice, which is cool. What time is it? 4 o'clock. What else do I have to do today? Let me look at my calendar. Make sure I'm not just procrastinating now. I think I'm all right. If y'all had to rate this year on a scale of 1 to 10 so far, what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, 2024 so far? I just kind of want to like see what the tone in the room is like. Just Bree says negative 1,000. Damn. I want that to change for you. But thank you for being real. We got Rachel who said 10. Whoa, Rachel's been on a high this year. I love that. I love that for Rachel. Chris got a nice 7.5. Maria's got an 11. Maria's on a high. We got some 7.7s. We got some 10 out of 10s. Oh man, y'all been having some good ass years. Except for Bree. I'd say mine's been a 5. Shrek's is a good 8. It's been a solid year for y'all. It's been a solid year for y'all. Makeup, cleaning, and cats says 2023 was bad. So compared to that, 8. Oh, wow. Congratulations to Rachel. Just bought her first house. That's freaking amazing. That is amazing, yo. I love that. Congratulations. Congratulations. NMJ says 5.5 for me. Still room for improvement. I feel you, my brother. I'm in the same boat as you. 5.5, Avery. Things got really tough in my country. Inflation is out of control. And we struggling. So 2 out of 10. I feel you. Someone says I was raised non-religious, but I think I might start getting into it. The thing is, I'm considering this because I feel as though I will go about life better and happier, but I think it's selfish. I mean, I think it's your life, so you have to do what you want to do, you know? Got some 8.5, some 7.5s. I'm really good to see that everyone's been on like a pretty good vibe this year. That's great. Good momentum, good rhythm to bring it into the new year. That's amazing. I love that for y'all. Oh, we got Miss Leia with a 1. Damn. Hopefully 2025 for you is gonna be like a good 10. We got a 6 for static B. Yeah, mine's a 5, but it's getting better. It's getting better. I do feel like the years go by very fast. Extremely fast. Like I feel like this year has just zoomed right by. Rachel says, ask me about last year. Totally different story. But like you said, the lows bring new highs. It's weird. It do work like that. New lows birth new highs. So, you know, when it's a bad day, let's be happy because a good day is going to come. When it's a good day, let's have gratitude because we know a bad day will come. But we move through it with grace, with a little resilience. Oh no, buds and brushes. Had a little stroke. Sending you prayers and health. My grandma, actually, the reason why I'm going to Jamaica is my grandma had a stroke. So that's why I'm coming out to JA. My grandma had a stroke. She's not doing too well. This year been tough for that. My grandma had a stroke. My grandfather died this year. And the mother of my child died as well. It's been a weird year. A very weird year. We got Jess Bree who says, I'm still grateful for it though. I love that. Even though the year was a minus 1,000. Lots of hard truths had to face. God is everything. I'm in the lion's den, which is good because when I come out, baby. I love that attitude. Even with the minus 1,000. I'll be honest, mine was less than a 5 actually. Mine was way less than a 5, but we keeping our heads up. Island Girl says same, numerous deaths of close ones. Yeah. It was hard for me to even just like say it actually for a minute, for a while. I really just was gonna like keep it all a secret, but then I just kind of felt like that wasn't maybe the necessary thing to do either. So I was like, I might as well just, if I feel like I need to say it, I just have to say it. So sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but you know, life is tricky, you know. Do you guys ever just like wake up and look around and be like, yo, what is this? You know, like even like beyond even like, oh, okay, God created this, but like it's just like Earth is so interesting. Like this human experience is so interesting. We're just like on this floating rock having these experiences and like don't have full conclusion of how it all came to be. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I probably have this thing like every week where I just go through that. Tree of Paradise says, grief is a long process. Take care. Matilda buried her husband on Friday. Oh my God. I'm so sorry to hear that, Matilda. I'm so sorry for your loss. Sandy says, yeah, wait, the mother of your child. Yes. It was very unexpected. Definitely very unexpected. I don't really want to talk about the details of it, but yeah. You know what I realized though? Like, I'm just like a firm believer in being kind. I'm just a firm believer in being kind to people because I remember I was at the gym a few weeks ago and I saw an old buddy of mine. I haven't seen him. He actually used to be my barber. When I saw him, I was like, hey, what's going on? You know, we gave each other a big dap and I was like, how you doing? He's like, good. He's like, how you doing? And I just told him about what happened, about that loss. And then we talked about it. And then I think because I opened up about that, he opened up about what's really going on in his life. And he was going through some deep stuff as well. We ended up talking like right there on the treadmills for like an hour, just about some real life shit. And it made me realize, you know, like when I saw him, he said, I'm good. But like we all go out into society and like put on the best face possible and just do the best we can while we can. But like you just really never know what someone is carrying or what they're going through. And I'm just a firm believer, like when you're out and about or just with those engagements or whatever you're having with people, just to be kind. Like you really don't know what somebody is carrying. Like life is tricky, you know, there is a lot of suffering, there is a lot of loss, and like you just don't know. Like you really don't know what somebody is carrying beneath. And it's just like, you know, I think if everyone just kind of walks with that awareness, you know, if we just like, you know, treat each other in a certain way, because it's like we're all having the same thing. Like we all will go through loss. We all will go through anger, jealousy. We all will go through love, you know, excitement, you know, abundance. Like we're all going to experience everything on the human experience. But like, you just never know what season somebody is in and how well they are carrying a strong face, you know? Island Girl says, what Paris in Jamaica? I'm going to be in Kingston. So I'm going to be in Kingston, like right by Halfway Tree there. So I'm not going to go anywhere else because I'm literally only going to be there like 5-6 days. It's really a quick trip. I'm also going to get like, I'm also going to get my citizenship in Jamaica as well because I can, because of my father. I'm going to get like a Jamaican passport just in case one day I want to like post up for a while. So that's also something I'm going to be doing in Jamaica is get a Jamaican passport. But I'll be in Kingston the whole time. But Kingston's not even my favorite. I much prefer. I got one of my friends lives out in Belmont, and there's not much over there, but I love being over there. Someone says small acts of kindness can change the world, I believe. Yeah, well, like think about like what Jesus said, right? Like love your neighbor and love your enemy. Both are very hard. You know, sometimes you can have some neighbors that are just like annoying, and then loving your enemy is incredibly annoying. But like, imagine if everybody did that, what the world would look like. You know.
Your maker sleep outside your doorway. Your prophets sleep to wander road. You fall asleep at night with chorus. The saddest man in Babylon.
Sahara says, we were sad to hear you don't want to be a YouTube creator anymore. I hope like I'm going to have to do like another video, because what I was trying to say is I want to shed the label of being a YouTube creator, in the sense of like, I don't want to operate under a YouTube creator like lens. It's very hard to explain, because I tried to explain in the beginning of the video. I'm still going to make videos, right? But it's just YouTube videos is not like my main focus, nor do I want to like, because the last few years is almost as if like everything in my mind has revolved around YouTube and making those videos and like YouTube as a business and all that. I just want to change that so my mind can be under a new operating system. So really, I'm still going to upload videos, but like, it's just like, it's not my main focus, and it's going to probably change up. And I want to like be under I want to rewire my brain and create in new ways and focus on other things. So I probably have to do another video to update what I fully meant, because like, it's like, to me, it makes sense in my mind, but I'm realizing it may not make full sense in that video. But like, it's just like being a YouTube creator is just like you start to create in a certain way, right? And it's like, you're not just creating, it's like, but you start to create like for YouTube in a certain way. And then like, the metrics and everything like that. And then like the ecosystem of it. And I just want to like, I wanted to shed that label. And like, now I kind of want to operate as my main focus is I want to write a book, so more so like, even when I'm uploading videos, I'm more like, oh, I'm uploading videos to like nurture the pathway of becoming an author, and like hanging out with y'all is really a way for me to develop something where we can go and like create actual events offline. Because I think with this like AI revolution that's happening, we're going to need more real experiences offline, because the internet is going to get so weird. The internet is going to get so weird with like the deep fakes and the AI influencers and the abundance of noise, is that like, I think I want to pivot and do more like live experiences like in real life. So I'd rather operate under that lens. Like in my mind, I'm not a YouTube creator anymore, even if I'm on YouTube. And I know this might not make sense, but in my mind, I'm more operating under the lens of becoming an author and like a speaker and just all around just a creative. And like, I use YouTube as a telescope to highlight these other projects, versus before I'm focused on being a YouTube creator and everything that comes with that. Someone says, I never saw you as a YouTube creator. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And I didn't either, but I think at some point, like my brain got rewired, like, again, on YouTube, like, it's like you almost come up with the title of the video before even making the video. And I don't like that, So I like how I can just hop on live stream and hang out. I don't got to think about no title. I don't got to think about no thumbnail. I can just hop on and hang out with y'all. And I think just with the AI stuff coming, which I think AI is actually a really good tool, but one problem with AI is one ChatGPT prompt is the equivalent of 10 Google searches. So like, AI is actually very energy dependent. It requires a lot of energy to make that happen. But I just think with like with the rise of AI content that's going to come, and that's like the abundance and the quantity of it, is that live streaming is a little bit more appealing to me, because I feel like it's a little more humanity in it, a little bit more connection. And right now, this is very much just chill. We just hanging out, but I'm going to develop it more into like a structured show, more with themes, actually like a little bit more purpose. But, sometimes we'll just hang out. But the truth is, I never really saw myself in the beginning as a YouTube creator, but I can say that like, there was a time where I noticed my brain was being rewired. And it's very hard to explain, but my brain was being rewired, and it was changing the way I approach things. I wasn't approaching things with pure curiosity and joy. I was approaching it in like a different lens, and I didn't like that. So yeah. Yeah. We'll figure it out though. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. book would be beautiful. Would definitely read it and highlight all of your beautiful knowledge. Are you going to keep up the podcast? Yeah, actually, I really enjoy doing the podcast. So I actually have, like, let me count right now. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 podcasts right now that I have to record, that I'm going to record this week. So yeah, the podcast will still be a thing. For sure. Obviously that like fluctuates in the seasons. I would like it to be a little bit more consistent, but you know, that's like really what it's all about. So for me, the podcast, since it's not like tied to like, since it's not tied to like the culture or like things that are happening, it's kind of timeless. Like people always tell me that they just listen any moment, anytime they want. And like it still kind of resonates whatever season they're in. So I love that. That's like the intention behind it. So I never really put pressure on myself to like overproduce that. I like this beat. I think that's gonna be the last beat, and then I gotta eat some dinner. Big tune, big tune, big tune. I like it. I like it. I like this. I got into EDM, electronica, reggae. Yeah, I don't even know what I call this genre, but it's like it's a bit of Afro, South Africa in there, dance, soul. You know, it's a good vibe all around. It's been 2 hours. Good little hangout session. You know, a little random vibes. I'm gonna go get some dinner, some late lunch. Had a good time hanging out with y'all. Number one chill spot on the internet. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for engaging and whatnot. Good to hear that a lot of you have been having an amazing year and you're gonna keep it moving forward. You know, have a good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is where you are. I see you next time. Maybe tomorrow I might be live. I'm not sure. I gotta check over my schedule. But thank you for just hanging out with me. I was kind of bored, so I just wanted to say what's up. I see you next time, yo.